Hi everyone. Oh, it's Friday again, thank God. That's kind of all I can say is thank God after the stress of the week. How is everybody?
Yeah, I'm alright. Have you had a stressful week? It's Stephen that's been with you for 10 years, not you.
Oh, that man needs a medal.
NBA, definitely.
Yep, definitely. We have three in the chat. It's our Nettie. Thank you very much, Nettie, for letting us know. Right, guys, I'm going to start the show by saying tonight's subject is very controversial. Now, religion is a very controversial subject, let's face it. Now, I just want to point out, no matter what people think tonight or what they see across Facebook just now, this is no way a dig at MD's religion. Each to their own. People can believe what they want. They can. Nettie, you're not helping. People can believe what they want. They can. Everybody has an entitled to an opinion, right? So, where you guys that if you want to eat my podcast, you eat your podcast. See who's want to do anything. Do whatever you want. But it will, but babe, it will be a controversial one. So please just know that we are totally not saying anything bad. We respect each other's views. There's no right or wrong. And in comparison to what you read, don't believe everything that you read. Now let's go, guys. So, religion and paranormal. Now, this subject came up. Hey, Ben. Hey, Ria. This subject came up because last week we were talking and a lot of people were mentioning religion and paranormal, and I always try to steer off these subjects because I always think they always go wrong. But I've got good views and
and
there's StreamYard's starting to go already.
There was gone straight away.
So I asked the boys, I've got it wired to next doors, but don't tell them, so I asked the guys what they wanted to do as a subject, and they said religion and paranormal. So let's go for it. Oh, Robert and Wayne, hello to you guys tonight. So I'm just going to start by saying I am not a believer, but I don't kick MD's views at all. Each to their own in what people believe. The only time that I find that I really turn to going to church is when I'm dealing with death, especially close ones. I found with my gran that I wanted to go and sit in a church. Don't know why, but just wanted to. It's the same as my papa. I wanted to do the exact same thing. Hi, Beverly. Welcome to the show. So I think it's interesting to have all different points of view because you never know what sort of cases that you're dealing with when it comes to the paranormal. And an interesting theory that I got told to me no long ago was, well, how do we know that spirits, I mean, we always assume that spirits are like ourselves, white, but there could be different origins. Why do we make an assumption when we're doing ghost hunting that you're dealing with somebody of our origin? It could be a different origin, could be a different religion. So there could be times where you're in doing, which many people do on investigations is, and I know this through interviewing a gentleman from America who I had on, who openly admitted that he wasn't a believer, but now the way that he conducts his investigations he's more turned to the Christian side of doing things. When he goes in, he blesses the place, he treats the place with respect, and he uses the word, basically the word of Christ, with the spirits, and that works for him, and that is fair enough. If that is what works for him, that's what works for him. What's your guys' opinions?
Yeah, I mean, I was brought up religiously, so I will work from that aspect. Although my paranormal beliefs, whereas most religions will put you down that sort of track, I look at it that way. So I look at the whole picture. I take spirituality and everything else into consideration. So my religious views aren't as a specific church or religion will point you in. So I think at the end of the day, you need to look at the bigger picture. And I don't think you can go far wrong. It doesn't matter which religious belief you come from. Having a belief in something is probably a good thing if you're in the paranormal field, even though religion itself sort of it tries to veer you away from dealing with such things. But my family, for instance, are religious, yet they back me fully in what I do. So,
yeah, and from my point of view, I think it's just a big umbrella. Most beliefs, most religions mention spirit. We've got spiritualist churches. That's from a religious point of view. So, yeah, to answer the question myself, the one that I posed on my page, does religion belong in paranormal? Of course it does, because some of the biggest sayings in religion, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, they are paranormal in phrase. So why shouldn't they be there? But there's a bigger belief system than just Christian and Catholic and paranormal side of things. There's so many religions today that involve spirits. So do they exist? I think you can look to a religion to answer that one, because if they believe that spirit exists, why not? Why not? We're just trying to prove the fact. And yes, a lot of people use these apps. We all know my views on that. I think till we come up with something decent, similar to voice recorders and video cameras that's got audio capabilities, then that's all we've got to go on so far. We can look at films and wish and dream that they were a reality, and we can capture, like Ghostbusters, a spirit in a gun. But we can't do it. Physically, we can't do it yet. So we'll just have to wait until somebody invents something. But yeah, what's as viewers think about it? Because as I say, for me, yes, of course it does, and it's proven in text that spirit exists. The paranormal, as in an umbrella way of explaining things, exists in religion, so it's compatible.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of religions will say that in the Bible it says to not to communicate with mediums, blah blah blah. But it also said, I pointed it out to religious priests that I've spoken to, that it also says in the Bible, God has given you gifts, use them wisely. So if you're using your mediumship gifts for good, then there's not a problem, is there?
Well, exactly. And it comes back to all the Claires and what is a medium, what is a psychic. There's all these different explanations or trades in the field. What's acceptable and what's not. That would be a fairer description, really, because some sects. Yeah, I didn't say sex. Sects.
Don't you get my show any more blacklisted than it is the new?
Some will accept certain things, like you said, Ian, and others won't.
Mhm.
A lot of churches have spiritualist evenings, so they stand in a circle and they invoke spirit. Now, if you can do that in a church, that says to me that that religion accepts it.
Yeah. I think it's
Yep.
becoming less of a no-no, isn't it? With
Yeah,
religion.
not to be,
Mm.
not to
But
be
you
anymore.
think the century, merely the years go on, the more open-minded people are going to be. Blair Roger says, howdy, howdy. The Robert says the church is a generation away from extinction. Hiya Cal, welcome to the show. Hi Beverly. Beverly says, I'm a psychic medium and the church is not against the paranormal, as I've been baptised and confirmed into the Church of England as a fully working medium.
I think that's a good step forward, I think.
Yeah.
That is, it's definitely a good step.
I think
Hey William.
the biggest problem we've got at the moment
Hey Louise.
is one of the biggest religions going, and that's Catholic, Catholic Church, because they're very hypocritical at the moment, and they have been for some time, because they won't acknowledge the existence or anything else, but yet they chant things. Plus, they've got an organization that actively goes ghost hunting, for lack of a better description. So,
well, I know with exorcisms now, it's not you don't have to get permission from the Pope, because they have their own order of exorcists, which is a completely separate entity that they get the investigations done, and then they will send a priest where needed. So it's completely separate from his permission now.
Eric says almost every religion believes in an afterlife. And Wayne says we have to remember that the Holy Ghost and Spirit are mentioned in the Bible around 350 times.
Exactly.
But if you think about it, the paranormal belief is strongly influenced by both religious beliefs and religious people taking part. And I think, see, to be honest with you, it's nice to look at different religions and look at, well, what's their view on the paranormal? As we've discovered, Christianity, Catholic, there's a lot of different religions out there.
And I think the most surprising actually is your Templars, because there was one sect that agreed with it, and there was another sect that didn't. The Hospitallers steered clearly away from it. They was very mindful in their foundation, their religion, but there was others that actively seeked it out. The Holy Spirit went to war. So yeah, he's each to their own, isn't it? At the end of the day, I think that's what it boils down to. What's that say?
Beverly says both churches and councils have their own departments that deal with hauntings and such. It's just not commonly known. William says there's a worldly difference between the paranormal and the cult. There is, William, I totally agree with you. And going back to Beverly's comment as well, that wouldn't surprise me, Beverly. I could imagine that there's a lot of paranormal going on that's not been said. And Wayne says, and then if you look further back past most religious texts and look at some of the texts, it gets very eye-opening.
Yeah. I mean, going back to what Beverly said, I know the Buddhist religion, which my medium he follows the Buddhist religion, and although they would never harm anything, spirit or whatever, they would have a shaman in their village that would deal with such things.
Well, exactly. Yeah, there's a department for it, isn't there? And I think religions tried to do it. Your main religions have tried to do that, but they won't. Well, like you said recently, they are being a little bit more open to it because of social tides. But for years and years and years, it was a secret organization, an offshoot. And I think they still exist. That they're offshoots. Or we'll accept it, but behind closed doors. That's not accepting it, is it? You know what I mean? It needs to be
No.
widespread. So,
Wayne says there's currently 250 trained Catholic exorcists around the world.
Yeah, they're part of the order, which Bishop Ronald Frey is the head of the order. He deals with where they go to and what cases need looking into.
Yeah. And I just want to welcome Michelle to the show. She's from Tight Move, Devon, and she's in bed with a tummy bug. So sorry to hear that, honey. Get well soon, love.
it's
so why do you think why do you think it's such a grey area then in the paranormal? Like it's such a
because
most people
the word that's been mentioned so far, everything in the past used to be, if it wasn't actual worshipping God or a god, it was some sort of occult.
It was taboo, very taboo.
And the two things were tied together, so that's why it never became widespread, I think. These days, because people are associating it more with religion, spiritualism, it's becoming accepted.
I mean, if you look back in biblical times when it was said, don't consult with mediums back then would worship another god. So, but in modern times, as in Beverly's case, we have mediums who are Christians.
Yeah, I mean,
we have mediums who are spiritualists. We have mediums who are Wiccan. So it's become a lot more
witchcraft, witches. They were your mediums. A lot of them were mediums. So exactly. So they weren't good souls. They weren't accepted as good souls. So which now they are, as you say, Wiccan is widely accepted as a healing organization. So
I totally agree with that. Do you know what, guys? I watched a good documentary when we're talking about religion, and I always bring this up, right? When we're talking about religion. And it's a good documentary by a guy in America called Bill Maher. And he challenges religion. He was brought up around it, but he loves challenging it now as an adult. And he went to somewhere, I think it was, I could be wrong. I want to say Texas, but I don't think it was. Anyway, it was this travelling, what they have in America is a travelling, like a sort of, I want to say Christian bus, right? It's like one of the sort of travelling Christian buses. So there's people there, and he's allowed to obviously go in and interview. And he stands up in front and says, well, you see Jesus as a child and you see Jesus as an adult, but what was he doing in his teenage years? Now, as you know, people can get quite offended by when you challenge religion. Doesn't matter what religion, whether it's Christianity, whether it's been a Buddha, whether it's been Islam, whatever. So this guy took quite offence to what Bill had said, and he left. So he started to speak to this other guy, which was, it kind of blew my mind. And it was a gentleman who used to be a satanic priest that's been converted back to Christianity. And how open this guy was in that. And what makes me giggle is when Bill Maher's in the car and he says, he was a satanic priest and he's went to Christianity. He says, I'd be loving the life or this money or these women. And it made me laugh, but I found it a really interesting documentary because some of the things that Bill was challenging, I thought in my head is, and you know, I've never actually ever thought of that. So if you guys want to watch something really, really good, check out Religiously. It'll probably be maybe on Amazon Prime. But you just need to check it out, guys. It's really, really good. Right, I'm going to, because the comments are building. Wait now. Right, so we'll start with Michelle onwards. Wayne says you had to be part of the mainstream religions. Beverly says the trouble with the paranormal is that the devout religious people don't accept it, but the church are more accepting that it has to be looked at. Noreen, welcome to the show. She says, I think in times gone by, fear played a big part in it, and it's not been accepted.
Yeah.
William says, God is man, man is God. Robert says, the Bible says, do not try to contact the dead. Michelle says, I love all this. I just want to know if there is life after life. Wayne says, we have to go back to before mainstream religions to when we are human worship more than one God to see where the religion splits and becomes separate. Beverly says mediums were used in the war to snoop into Germans to see what they were doing. A whole section of the gifted people were taken underground in a room set up. Sorry, Beverly. William says it's called ancient history. Wayne said it carried on after World War II with the child using remote viewing mediums to spy on the Russians and find hidden places. And it's amazing, like reading Bev's comment and Wayne's comment, thinking that even back then they were using mediums.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
in one form or another for thousands of years. But they were just underground.
DIA, sorry.
Becoming mainstream, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, mediums have been used in wartime for donkeys. You know, you go back to the ancients, they would choose whether to attack on the the say so of a medium. You know, it even happened in Egyptian times, so it's not anything new. But,
exactly. I mean, just to redress Satan, the devil, many different Beelzebub, many different titles, same entity. Where did he actually come from? Is he an opponent of God? Is he an opponent of Jesus? No, actually, no. He just disagreed. He's a fallen angel.
Yeah.
So he disagreed. He questioned what God was doing, and he was thrown out of heaven for it. Now that to me is not a bad person. It's just a
I think the whole argument was over. He wouldn't bow down to the human race, would he?
Yeah. Well, not outside
actually. There's
a lot of text.
That's what I read.
On our side, God wanted to do away with us and start again.
Wayne says they would consult to when would be the best time, and it says that remote viewing is a fascinating subject, and they would consult them to see when would be the best time to attack.
Yeah.
But you think about it, many people are under the impression that the Bible's nothing to say about the subject of ghosts and paranormal. When you think about it, many Christians have become punctually when it comes to the supernatural in the Bible. They may still actually believe in paranormal. Such events such as, like, well, if you really want to get into it, the events such as, the creation of virgin birth, the miracles of Jesus, the second coming of Christ. So if you think of all that, and in essence, you could see that as supernatural.
Well, yeah, there's a crossroad demon involved somewhere, isn't there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So who? When did you resurrect Christ, then, Lois?
Well, it was 1912. Picture it in Sicily. Beverly says the police use mediums in cases I've done and helped in one. So if the paranormal is not accepted, why is it used by so many? I think that is an absolutely interesting point, Beverly, because I think it's great when you watch mediums be used in cases. I think that's a step forward for the paranormal.
Definitely.
Is this a rabbit hole? Because this is not religious.
Yeah. But it's it's more acceptable in America than it is here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you think we could get to a stage where we're just as open-minded as America is?
Well,
I think we're more so in certain areas and less so in others.
yeah.
It swings and roundabout. It's all to do with how a country is socially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so Japan, for example, part of the culture. But you go to, say, Germany, and they will dismiss it. They won't have anything to do with it, or they wouldn't. Whether they do now or not, I don't know, but they wouldn't at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know in the cases of mediums being involved with the police, they point the police in the right direction. Then the police have to go and find the evidence. So that would probably be an issue in the UK because the police don't like having that much paperwork. But
No.
the
Well,
problem,
look at
the problem we have here. The police have far too much paperwork for
Mhm.
anything they do.
Yeah.
Mhm. But you've got to laugh because sometimes when you're on investigations, here's another rabbit hole. We're going down many rabbit holes tonight, gentlemen. So here's the thing: when you're on investigations, whether people think it's right, maybe people think it's wrong, but when you go urban exploring, and the police come, 9 times out of 10, the officers are open arms with you. They just say, "Look, guys, got to come and see. Make sure you're no breaking into anywhere." You show them your equipment, and 9 times out of 10, they're fascinated. What does that do? And I've never, ever, actually, ever had a bad experience with a police officer.
No.
I have, but that's another story. Well, then, fine. We're going down rabbit holes.
If you will go robbing banks, Brian, you know that.
Terrible. But no, on the whole, it's been fine, and I totally agree with what you said, Lewis. I've been to many a place, and we've been reported because we're in a location. I'll just mention Spofford because it's quite talkable. It's a public area. It's open to public 24/7, and it gets well used. Now, we were there as a group, a mixed group, young and old, from all walks of life, and we were doing an investigation. We picked a few things up. Then next thing we know, this policewoman had jumped down steps. And, "What are you doing?" And my mate swore at her because he was surprised. She says, "Oh, we've had reports that you're doing drugs, blah, blah, blah." Says, "Do you want to drag on my e-cig? Because that's about the only thing we've got." Once we thought we were a paranormal group, as you say, they calmed down. They did play good cop, bad cop for about 10 minutes, and then that was fine. But I've also done other investigations with other groups, and other members of that group have opened their mouths before I've had chance, and they've mentioned being explorers or urbexes. And the difference from police when you mention different things is phenomenal. They wanted to lock us up. Absolutely. Yeah. And I once went to a farmhouse, and there were 3 different, because it was a certain area, and there were 3 different constabularies, whatever, I can't remember what the term is, but there were 3 sets of police. There were riot vans, there were dog vans, and then there was armed police that got tasers with lasers. That was absolutely terrible. They outnumbered us 10 to 1, just for an empty, abandoned farmhouse. So again, it depends on who's reported it. Basically.
Ben says, "I think Mary was abducted." Michelle says, "So true." Annette says, "Thrown from heaven for disagreeing, an all-day conspiracy theorist in my book." William says, "Actually, if you look back into ancient history, you will find the Roman armies and the Greek armies used the predictions of the stars and bird flight, myths, etc. to predict whether or not they would win the battle. Michelle's asking where we're all from. I'm from Scotland.
Basha's a haggis Basha. Ian's from down south, down Hastings, very, very populated from day one. And I'm from the middle of the country. I mean, from God's country, Yorkshire.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Nettie says, me and Lynn duck down and hide when the security arrive. You watch what you're putting in the comments. I don't want you getting all reported for the old ducking and diving. Nicola says, yeah, then they get back in the car and watch it live. I wouldn't be surprised, Nicola. Robert says, look at all these ghost walks everywhere and no one bothers. And William says, too much cash involved. Well,
Correct.
look at Martin Luther. When you look at Martin Luther, he argued against, the use of selling indulgences by the Roman Catholic Church. Luther's strategy was straightforward. Use the Bible to argue against the existence of an afterlife, of conscious torment and perjury. I'm so proud I can get my words out tonight. It must be all the shock of the day we've had.
Must have been 18.
From which they can be released by indulgences, thereby removing the need for them. Instead, his belief that the physical dead were sleeping a deep and dreamless sleep gave much of the church the diploma of soul sleeping. However, not many people bought what Martin Luther King believed, but that you've got to think the idea of soul sleeping is still held in many parts of the church today, if you think about it, in all kinds of different forms.
Yeah. There's one that I don't... Oops.
Oh, he's drunk again.
Well, Wayne says, Bri, put your cup down. Drinking isn't allowed on podcasts. That's only if you're a certain individual, but I'm not professional, so I don't give a shit. Wayne says, I had a good cop, bad cop. Bad cop vanished when I pointed out that he wasn't wearing his face mask. Trust you, Wayne. And Robert said he was too busy sleeping, he kept having dreams. And Robert says Bri gets pissed every week.
Of course I do, yes, I'm all jolly. There's only one sect of religion that I've got if it's personal, I suppose. I don't like, let's put it that way, and that's evangelism. For me, it's all about money.
Yeah.
It's literally all about money. Give me your money, and I'll heal you from anything. What's all that about? You know what I mean? They aren't God. They're a sect.
Yeah.
So here's a question for you guys and for everybody in the chat. What do you guys think about these people who take people who are injured, people who be possessed, into these places? What do you think about it? Can't think of the name of them, but the people that hold the hand. You know what one is always done in America?
Evangelism.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah,
do you think that's all for money as well?
Apparently, you can exorcise a demon by slapping someone on the forehead. So
exactly. Yeah.
Do you want to try it on me?
Well, yeah. Well, we'd love to slap you on the forehead just for the sake of it, but that's got nothing to do with it.
We'll get Stephen involved, and that's no, because he's an
yeah.
angel.
I'll ordain Stephen later, and he can try it.
Yes.
Right. That's absolutely fine. I'm happy with that one. Robert saying someone's prying Bryce to say I'm not paying him. I'm skint. Wayne says I'm on the fence.
I'm glad you spelt it because I didn't want anybody taking it wrong way.
No. I won't even tell you what my show's becoming. When I'm on the fence, I know a faith healer and I trust him. There are obviously others that use actors to draw in the masses and the money.
Yeah.
That I could believe.
There are legit healers, etc., etc.
Exactly. There's good and bad cops, yeah.
But as with everything, there's always the money grabbers.
Yep. Wayne, sorry, Beverly. Cause Wayne was above you. Beverly, I've never seen anything bad. I can't help it. It's Friday night. It's been a long week.
Well,
Beverly says, I have never seen anything bad or possessed in my life. However, I've done a couple of nasty ones, but nothing of the possession type. Everything I do for free, and I have a gift, so why charge people? I totally agree with that, Beverly. And to be honest, I'm sceptical in possession. Very, very sceptical.
Right. Well, can I explain a little bit of that to you, Lewis?
Yes. Carry on, my love.
In life, as in death. So, if you were, let's say, mentally ill,
yes,
you pass away in a mental institution, and this is why I don't actually like investigating mental institutions, because there's a code, shall we say. It's an unwritten code. It's an unwritten rule that spirit do not possess unless they're invited in. If you are mentally unstable in life, as in death, then you cannot adhere to that unwritten law. So you were more likely to find that possessions happen in that type of environment. If an institution is haunted, you will more than likely be possessed without permission in that environment. So it's not common, but it happens, and it happens more often in that kind of environment. From my observation of 40 odd years. So
isn't it? It's an interesting one. It's a really interesting one.
I sort of was a bit hoo-ha about possessions. I did a course with Kieran O'Keefe on demons and possessions, and I actually debunked one of the famous cases. What was it? The one they based the film The Possession of Emily Rose, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah.
Was it Andrea Michaels or something like that?
Yeah.
I debunked it and put it down to she had two mental health issues that were triggering each other. Yeah. And that's what I put it down to. And then the following week, we got a call that a girl telling me her mum wasn't her mum. And then I came face to face with one. So, yeah, that was a bit of a... So, obviously, someone was trying to tell me, well, you might have debunked this one, but have a look at this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
our Nettie says it's crazy. I got conned into going to see one at my friend's church. I got in trouble for laughing. He looked like Ric Flair with bouncers. Bouncers with him. Nicola says because the brainwash people. Nicola says, yeah, true one doesn't charge. William says, strange how many ghost hunters are into what they call demons. You're reading my thoughts because that was my next sector. So hold that thought, William.
As we have said a lot on this show, demons are very few and far between, and they're not for attracting people's attention. So they're not going to appear on a TV show saying the word demon every 5 minutes. So,
well, exactly. I mean, I don't term demons very often. I will term them as entities.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're basically spirit that's gone bad. Cheers, Robert.
Robert says that's interesting. Beverly says people are mistaken that spirit needs a vessel to come through, but if it's not the case, if it's not the case at all, if it wants to come through, it will. Just doesn't mean it's a possession. It's just a communication.
Exactly.
Noreen says, I don't believe in demons. I think as in life there are bad people in spirit. I don't believe it. Wayne says, I don't believe in angels and demons. And Annette says, frustrated spirits. Do you know what, guys? See the word demons, it just drives me to the edge. Honestly. Sometimes I feel like screaming when I hear the word demons, and I'll tell you why. Because,
Again,
as I said,
It's like someone calling your name all the
and it's
time.
no harm. I know that we've got a demonologist in with us tonight, Ben, and Ben is a very, very knowledgeable guy. If there's one guy I had to go to, if I had to deal with something like that, I would go to Ben Winfield in a heartbeat. That guy's knowledge is astronomical. I'm just myself skeptic, and I'm skeptic in some things in the paranormal, and I think we all should have that bit of skeptic in us, because at the end of the day, until you've experienced something like in life, just don't automatically assume. Like, as Annette said, frustrated spirits. You know, Noreen says there are bad people in spirit, and Beverly says it could be something, so simple as a communication that spirits try to communicate. You're not picking up what they're saying. So what are they going to do? They're just going to go.
Yeah, most of what people automatically jump to the demon is as Annette says, frustrated, angry, confused. They don't know what's happened to them. It's all these emotions where they're trying to communicate with people and no one's speaking to them. And then suddenly somebody goes there willing to communicate and they come back with this and someone goes, oh, it's a demon. No.
It's terminology at the end of the day. And like you say, it's historically timed, and these terms pop in and pop out. I mean, nowadays we've got so many words that all mean the same, which it only makes it worse because English language is confusing anyway to most other countries. We've got so many words that mean the same thing.
Yeah, I know. There's some things that Viv's taught me that if you say it in other countries, it means different things, and it's just like, why can the English words not just all be the same and all mean the same, instead of having nicknames for one thing that means a good thing in one country, but you go to another country and you say something that is totally innocent, and
which is why
you end up in trouble.
The British public find it very hard to learn another language, but other countries find it easy to learn English, which is actually harder than their own language. I don't get that. That's a very odd one, that to
me. So I'm just going to quickly read the comments. Beverly says, it makes me laugh. No one is expert or high level of the paranormal as it's not recognised. So how do these people notice a demon without the professional? I'm going to come back to what Bev says in a minute. William, personally with respect, I think you only truly learn about something spiritual in the esoteric world, which is very, very true, William. Wayne says, could just be a spirit cleaning its throat to talk. Aye. Could be a spirit, its throat. You're some man. I love Beverly's comment, and I'll tell you why. Cutting the demon and the professional out. But it's the expert or higher level of the paranormal.
There are no experts in the paranormal field apart from in certain aspects of the field. You cannot be an expert in the paranormal. There's no such thing.
Exactly. What you can
I've got to totally agree with
it. And how long you've been doing it and how serious you've been in doing it.
There are very experienced people in the paranormal field, like ourselves, Bri. But does it make us?
Don't make me look bad.
No.
Does that make me and Bri an expert? No, because we're still learning, and you always will be.
Yeah, exactly.
And Wayne says it's about knowledge of experience, but it just drives me batty when you see the whole I'm an expert and it's no an expert.
And I know for a lot of facts, friends of mine that are on TV shows and that, it's the production teams that put that label on because they're programmed to have paranormal experts. Well, even the people that have been labelled one will turn around and say, I'm not an expert.
You know,
that's why I love. Oh, sorry, when you go, Bri.
Yeah, the biggest influence going is the power of suggestion. It's the human condition. So if you say loud in a room full of people, there's a ghost over there, the majority of that room will tend to agree with you. And not
right, I just want to
with it whatsoever.
I just want to put here as the only Mr. Stephen Daly. I just want to say hello, a really good hello to my good friend here. He's now became a superstar. So much love to you, dude. Stay safe. Make sure that you're wrapped up. He'll watch that back and be like, you're a fanny. Beverly says, no one can tell you it's paranormal unless you have had an experience, and it's up to us to accept or deny what's happened to us. Do you know what that is so true? See, unless you've had an experience, and I can understand why people are skeptics, right? Now, I don't mind skeptics prior to what MD says about me. I don't mind skeptics. It's the manner that they come across in. And see, at the end of the day, it's good to be skeptic.
Skeptics are just people who haven't experienced anything they can't explain yet.
Well, I'm a skeptic.
I always attack my cases with a skeptical mindset. So I go in looking for the logical explanation before I look for the paranormal. So, no, I'm
a believer, but I'm skeptical. Because you have to be, like you were saying, you've got to look for a natural explanation if you can find one. And if you can't, if you've exhausted all other avenues, then you can say, not for definite, but more than likely.
Yeah. Even with the simple aspects of investigating, if you take a photograph, don't just take one. No. Take 5 or 6. And then if something's in a picture, you can look at the others and try and work out what's caused it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, look, what's in this picture? Did you get any others? No. Yeah. I felt something was over there and I took a picture. Don't just take half a dozen.
Exactly. What was that, Louis?
Annette says, I'm a virgin. I'm laughing because they're virgin paranormal investigator. I have a long way to go. Yeah, that's what they all said, Nettie.
I'd like to know what she's expecting to happen to lose her paranormal virginity.
William says, personally, I think the word professional has been misinterpreted. Wayne says, taking a scientific approach is more likely to reveal more answers than going into it blind. Do you know who I've got the biggest respect for in the paranormal world? The biggest respect for? And I've had the man on my show, but not this show, but the other show, To the Grave and Back. And I really, really would love him for Friday Frightners. He's Dr. Cal Cooper. Yeah. I love Dr. Cal Cooper.
We've had Cal on, haven't we? I'm sure we have.
No, he was on my other show. He was on To the Grave and Back. Because bear in mind, I have 2 shows.
We had him We had him booked, but he couldn't make it.
Right. He couldn't make it. So I'm going to try and get in touch with Cal Cooper again, because he was a really, really lovely gentleman. And right or wrong, no matter what you think, that guy gets you thinking. See that show that I did with him for a good, must have been about, I can't remember if we did an hour and a half. And I really sat really quiet. And I spoke every so often, but Cal's a great guy. He does a lot of talking, and honestly, he was so amazing to listen to. Some of the things that he was saying, and even listening to him the other night, on Wednesday night, I loved listening to Cal. I could listen to Cal all day. but he does make you think. He really does make you think about things.
Oh, yeah.
Beverly says, I do documentation of historic haunted buildings, and some I researched for decades, and the paranormal changes so many times you cannot state it's paranormal. Noreen says that Cal Cooper, he is an amazing speaker and very knowledgeable. I definitely need to get him for Frightners. Because he was just amazing.
Very much like Cal is Ashley Knibb, another guy who thinks outside the box, gets you thinking, and you might not agree with what he's saying, but he does make you think, and sometimes he triggers you to go down an avenue that might get you answers.
Yeah.
I've been down
I have the biggest respect for Ashley. He's a good guy. So we'll have to get him on at some point.
Yeah.
Well, the Frightners Diaries opened for the rest of the year. I don't mind having him on, Cal Cooper on.
That's as long as you don't lose it.
Well, I noticed that you laughed at my meme the day about me losing things. Well,
You never. Wait, what
me never, and never, ever would.
Your Iron Brew.
Losing my mind.
Yeah, your Iron Brew by the look of it, because we haven't seen that tonight.
See, to be honest, oh no, I like to hide my Iron Brew away tonight. That was all. No, do you know what?
She's had to get to Stephen.
That's it. That's what it is. To be honest with you, Iron Brew right now, I'm kind of going off, and I'm drinking a lot of Pepsi Max. Oh, Nicola wants me to get him on. Love his voice, Lois. I will get him on. I promise. I'll know what I'm going to say to him. Yeah. I'm going to say you're in high demand.
Yeah, she loves his voice. Nothing to do with the fact he's the pin-up of the paranormal.
Yeah.
I'm saying nothing because
I'll do my Earl Grey whistle test voice for you.
Hey, very well. I'm not going to say anything because I might get told that I'm sexual harassing folk next. That'll be next on the agenda. So I'm keeping my mouth shut about Cal. But he is a very nice man. He is very nice and he's very knowledgeable. So I will tell him that he's in high demand and see if he will be willing to do a Friday night, because obviously, if my mind serves me, he has got his family, his daughter, so it might. I need to work around them. But I've got an idea. If he can't do Friday, and he needs to do a Thursday, I've got an idea. And I'll speak with both teams, but I don't see it being an issue. But if it means I have to turn back to front and front to back, so that should be fine. Leave it with me.
Yeah, we don't want to know about me. What, you? One of the two Ronnies?
There's my partner there for the two Ronnies.
What, the box?
Cheeky devil. Hi, Holly. How you doing, my love? Right.
Yeah, you are too late.
You still got about 5-10 minutes. So next Friday, guys, I have picked a good subject, and it's the science of podcasting. Yes, guys, the subject is the science of podcasting. You might be thinking to yourselves, Lois, have you lost your marbles? And I'll be saying, maybe just.
There's no maybe about it. You have, yeah.
Yeah, don't tell everybody, but. Yeah. So yes, the science of podcasting. Next Thursday it'll be me and Rosie Posey on to the Graven back. We will be talking about premonitions, psychic premonitions. So that'll be an interesting one. Noreen says, I first came across Cal on a discussion show with Anthony Peake. Was fascinated listening to them both. They are, do you know what? I can't say about the other guy, but Cal Cooper definitely, without a doubt. Wayne says, are you going to use StreamYard? I might use Facebook Live. Just depends. But yeah, so what I will do, guys, over the weekend, I will message Cal himself. That's what I'm going to do. Since he's high demand in the cheek, because I looked at Nettie in her comment, obviously, I'll tell him that he's in high demand of the show tonight. Annette says, Lois, you will have to review the punishments in the cellar. You're telling me? You're telling me? They're ogging my cheek.
Go over my knees, young lady.
You're forgetting it. I'm actually Scottish too, so I can put up with it any day.
Well. So, guys, are you investigating over the weekend?
More than likely.
I'm still reviewing evidence, so...
More than likely, I will be finding some churches to do because my fans on my page like them. So yeah.
But I was forming a deck.
Robert.
Yeah.
You're always welcome, my darling. Obviously, for the people who have joined tonight, thank you very much for coming in. And I hope you are having a good weekend. What is everybody's plans in the chat for the weekend? Thank you, enjoyed that. I'm doing an invest. Sounds really good, Beverly. Are you going anywhere nice? And you're very welcome. Come back. You're very welcome, Noreen. Come back anytime, love. Definitely. But thank you, Sarah Louise. As always. But everybody, thanks for the support. And remember, guys, without you guys, we wouldn't have shows. So exactly. Yous are just awesome.
It's all for
Beverly is doing the oldest pub. I take it that's in Wales.
Is that's not the Skirridin, is it? No, that's not in Ilfracombe, is it?
I haven't managed to get there yet.
I know I am, but
I keep getting offers to go there, but it's never at the right time.
Oh, Devin, I don't know why I thought it was.
Let me know.
I don't know why I thought it was Wales.
Yeah, that's another area I need to get to as well.
Yeah,
it's Wales.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Why is going to the red line in Colchester?
Yeah.
Yep, that's what Wayne's doing, and a long life for our Nettie. You deserve it for all your working. Rita says it's a great show. Thank you, my darling. Thank you. Oh, Bryce went. Is he gone? Is he gone? Oh, there he is. But guys, we're going to leave it here, and I hope you have a good night, and I'll speak to you all soon. And thank you, guys, as always. Bye.